to trot. Hot to trot. Yeah.
Don't make fun of my saying. Good morning.
Hello.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm so good.
Yay. Here we
We're
are.
shaking it off.
We're shaking it off. We're having a podcast. It's gonna happen and it's gonna be great.
Woohoo.
Yay. So how have you been? What's been going on?
Well, what's been going on? Not much, really. I mean, the world is just calm right now.
You sure
Things
everything's
are
good?
like nothing wild is happening.
Here's the thing. We're recording this, and in retrospect, maybe you guys can figure out what day this is. But something major just happened last night. But this is going to come out like weeks later.
Yeah, so we're not even going to talk
It's
about
going to be
it.
something completely different
Yeah.
going to happen in the world. So we're not even going to talk about it.
Right.
What I do want to talk about real quick.
Okay.
So last week,
Yes,
we did a podcast.
We did.
And it was fun. It was, we watched The Great Outdoors.
we did.
And we
you
had a
guys
great
already
time.
heard it.
You guys already
listened
heard
to
it. You
were
loved
like,
it.
oh my God, that was my favorite episode so far, remember?
Yeah, it was great. So we watched that thing, and then you were like, hey, do you want to go to this farmer's market down the road? And I was just like, I'm a basic bitch. Of course I do.
Yes, you were.
So we went to the farmer's market, and, you know, as I assume in many farmer's markets these days, we've gone beyond the fruits and vegetables and
Oh,
baked
yeah.
goods, and we have booze.
Yeah, there's lots of booze options and snacks. Like you could have yourself a sweet little morning.
We did.
We did, yeah. But there's probably like 80 vendors, right?
Yeah, there's a ton.
a lot of vendors. And I would say like maybe 10 of them had snacks and also alcoholic beverage tasting options. So
Right.
you basically get to do, and a lot of them are like
Shots.
hard alcohol. So you're
Yeah.
basically walking around the farmer's market and they're like, hey, do you want to do a shot? And you're like, absolutely. I'm at the farmer's market. It is 10:30 in the morning, and this is a classy affair.
Yes.
In which I will be doing multiple shots and being like, let me taste that other one.
And then you're like making friends with other people, like this one's the good one.
Right.
And you're like talking to other people,
Right.
which is not who we are.
No, but people are, and they're telling you how they produce this alcohol, and we're just like, it tastes good. Give us more.
This tastes like peanut butter and jelly.
Right.
Delicious. So we had a little fun at a farmer's market, which was great. Well, then after the farmer's market, we're getting ready to go, and we go past a little brunch place, and your friend Kim's just like, you know, I've really been wanting to go to that brunch place. And I was like, I'm a little buzzed. Why not keep this party going? Let's do some brunch. We go to this brunch place, and we were like, they're known for like mimosas.
Yeah, it's a really cute place. It's like,
Yeah.
the decor won me over.
Yes, very, very cute. So we go, and we wanted like a flight of mimosas. But their flight is like a tree.
Yes.
And it's not just like a flight where you get like a little bit. It's like
No.
full glasses of mimosa
Yeah.
on a tree.
Because I've been to those like wine things before where you get like 4 glasses and they're all
Yeah.
like little like splash pours.
They're all a quarter of a glass.
Yeah,
so it equals
basically
one
it's
glass.
just like one glass, and
Yeah.
then they're like, okay, your second glass will be whatever you like the best.
Yes.
Presumably from that tree. This tree was like a sequoia. And it had like, you know, flowers and vines and stuff wrapped around it. It was lovely.
No, it wasn't. It was just so gaudy in a wonderful way.
Yeah.
But the minute they brought it to our table, it was funny because we just got done watching The Great Outdoors, which featured the old 96er,
Yes.
which brings a lot of attention. And I feel like this thing brought a lot of attention
It
to our
did, yeah.
table.
But a lot of people were getting them. That's the only thing that made me feel better. It's not like they had to like dust off the tree from the back.
Sure.
A lot of people were getting these
Sure.
things.
We had no business getting this thing.
But it does say on the menu that it's for 2 or more people.
Yeah, they won't give it to one person.
No, and that is a good rule. Maybe 3 or more should have been the thing.
It should be 3 or more.
Yeah.
I think it should be 3 or more. We shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So then afterwards we were like, well, we gotta
Walk it off.
We gotta walk this off a little bit. So we went up to the Wildwood Boardwalk and walked around a little bit, and we found an arcade, and we played. You know, there's little games where you put the coins in, and it like pushes the little tokens.
Yeah, what are those called?
Pushing machines.
Pushing machines?
It's
Yeah.
the pusher.
Little pushers.
Little pushers.
Lil pushers, I believe they're called.
It's a
You
little
know
pusher.
what we're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
If you've ever been to
And it makes your butt tighten a little bit. Like when you,
when the ting 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 ting.
and when you think it's gonna get close to the
Yeah.
edge, and you're just like, "Ee." But we found these machines that were Willy Wonka themed,
Yeah.
and you had to collect all the cards. And Kim attacked this thing like it was her goddamn mission to get every card.
And I did. Except,
well, she goes up to the, because if you got all the cards, and they all had different characters on them. So if you got all the character cards, you got like 5,000 points, which essentially got you like a box of fucking gummy bears.
Yeah.
Kim goes up to the lady at the ticket counter and is just like, I believe I have a full set.
Excuse me, ma'am. I believe you'll find that this is a full set.
Even Mr. Slugworth is in there. And this lady behind the counter who actually spoke like that was just like, well, actually, you're missing the golden ticket. And Kim's like, what? And we both got like indignant for a second. We're like, what are you talking about? There's no golden ticket in there. She's like, well, you have to come early. Usually people have to come early in the morning to get the golden ticket.
Right. What a scam.
What a scam.
Right.
Man, those boardwalks, they have a name for a reason.
I got so good at this game that there were like people like crowded around the machine. They were behind us. I was like, what card do you need? I'll get it for you.
Oh, yeah, you were giving out cards left and right. Look, what are you doing? There's worth 20 tickets each. Stop giving them to randos.
I'm a nice person. It was a kid.
Whatever. I have kids.
Okay.
You have kids in your life. Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Well, at the end of the day, we took our paltry number of points, which was like 4,000. We got some Mike and Ike's and friendship bracelets, which I'm still wearing.
And I'm not wearing.
And we went home.
We did. It was fun.
Oh, God, it was the best day. I loved it.
It was a great day. So today we're not doing that.
No.
Because I got stuff to do for sure.
Okay.
What are we doing today?
Today we're making a podcast, and it's called Confidently Controversial.
And what is our podcast about? Like, what is this show even about? Why am I here? What are we doing?
I think it's about the things we eat for breakfast and what we drink on the weekends.
Oh, cool.
So far, like, if this was our first episode, that's what people would think.
That's what people would think. Well, actually, we're best friends, if you didn't know.
Emily likes to tell someone every week.
I love telling people you're my best friend.
She's real jealous of me.
I just recently started a new job, and I was just like, my best friend's Kim Tweed, and I'm going to talk about her a lot. So I'm just going to say Kim Tweed from now on, and you're going to know that she's my best friend. And they're just like, okay, weirdo.
My name and picture on Emily's resume.
Wait till I put the pictures of you up in my office, and they're going to be like, who is this? I'm like, that's my best friend, Kim Tweed.
I thought you had like kids and stuff. Yeah, but
but she's the shining star that gives me power.
Right. She's the only one that matters.
She's the only one that matters. Well, anyway, in this podcast, we talk about movies from our youth, and we rewatch them as old people.
Yeah.
You say it all sad.
We are so old.
We're not.
Yeah, no, we are.
We're getting there.
Okay.
But yeah, we watch these movies with our ancient eyes. And then we kind of re-examine them and, talk about some of the things that held up, the things that didn't hold up, the things that surprised us, the things we loved, the things we hated.
Right. The things that have just completely and totally changed since these movies were created and put out into the world.
Right. And I love it because we get to watch movies that I probably haven't seen in a while. And this week is a good week.
It is a good week.
It is a good week because it's your pick.
It is my pick.
Do you want to get into it?
I guess so. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah, so I have to pick the movie, and I did my research, and this movie, I have no idea if you've ever seen this movie, because I don't know that we've ever talked about this phenomenon of a movie.
This is always exciting to me because, guys, we've been friends since we were 16 years old. We have talked about
everything.
Yeah.
You name it, we've probably talked about it.
Absolutely. And there's some things that we definitely talk about a lot more than others.
Sure.
But this is a popular movie?
Yes, it was a very popular movie.
Okay.
It came out in 1987.
Okay, so we were 10.
We were 10 years old.
Okay.
And I feel like at the time, like, understanding that this movie was like out of the ordinary for the time.
Okay.
Because it just wasn't along the lines of the other movies that were coming out.
Okay.
In that 1987, like very like teen angsty, 80s teen, Molly Ringwald, John Hughes, like that kind of stuff. This was like very different than that.
Okay.
And it felt different and it felt weird to me at the time, but I liked it.
Is it a kid's movie?
It's not a kid's movie. It's rated PG though.
Okay.
So it's not, it doesn't have like adult themes or anything like that.
And you watched it when you were a kid?
I watched it a lot when I was a kid.
Okay.
And I assume that it must have, went to the box office, but I think it must have been on TV a lot too.
Okay.
Because I feel like I've seen it a lot, or maybe we had the VHS. I don't know, but I watched it a lot. I don't know how, but it's weird.
Do you love this movie?
I kind of do. I probably haven't seen it since I was 10 years old or 12 years
wow.
old. Like, I have not seen it since then.
This is great. This is
Okay.
exciting.
So, to kind of like get you in the idea of what this movie is, this movie had people that were top stars in like the 1960s, and brings them into a movie in 1987 as somewhat their same selves.
What?
Like who they were, these like icons of the 1960s era.
Okay.
And brings them back in 1987.
Okay.
This movie. And one of the stars, it was his idea. He's the one that wanted to do it.
Okay.
And had a really tough time getting the movie made because people were just like, nobody cares about you.
Oh.
Like, nobody really wants to see this. It was in development. So it was in development for a really long time. And like he shopped it all around town and everybody's like kind of like meh about it.
Okay.
Eventually they did hire someone to direct. And this person that they hired to direct was Lyndall Hobbs. And she's never made a feature.
Oh, it's a lady.
Yeah. She had never made a feature film before, but she'd like directed a couple of music videos. And then I don't know.
Oh, come on.
And then I'm
going to ask the questions.
I know. I'm sorry. Well, she also, they also hired a ton of different writers. Like this project had like writers in and out and in and out. And they spent an additional like $2 million in writers' fees.
It's always a good sign.
To get this movie written.
Always a good sign.
Yeah. Ultimately, when it came out, like I said, 1987, and I thought that this review of that time was pretty interesting. It said, The Living Daylights released 2 years after A View to Kill, which was a 007 movie.
I knew that one.
With new Bond Timothy Dalton.
Okay.
And then this movie released, released at that same time.
As A View to a Kill.
Yes.
Okay. Which I always will remember because Duran Duran did the song for that Bond movie, and it was pretty great. So I can know where I was then listening to that song.
It stars an inseparable and indelible on-screen duo, as like famous as Fred and Ginger and Tracy and Hepburn. And this was the movie that America didn't know it needed at that time.
What is this movie? Do you think I know this movie?
I don't know. Okay, so the tagline on this is fasten your seatbelts and get ready for a totally new wave motion picture experience.
Okay. I know what it is.
Hold on.
Oh no, I know what it is.
The film generated a total of over $13 million, and it did receive 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert, who compared it favorably to Grease because it's the movie
Back to the Beach.
It is.
Yes. This is so exciting.
Okay.
Have we never talked about that?
No.
The Humunga Cowabunga from Down Under. This movie.
Really weird, right?
Really weird. We watched it a lot.
A lot.
I mean, I know, okay, my little brother in particular is going to be very excited about this episode. For sure, he's going to be very excited about this episode. Because I know, remember watching it with him, and he must have been 8.
Yeah.
But my mom was a huge, like, Mickey Mouse fan, like, back in the day. Like, so she, like, Annette and Frankie Valley, right?
Frankie Avalon.
Frankie Avalon.
Yeah. So Annette Funicello, she was a Mouseketeer.
Mm-hmm.
And Frankie Avalon starred in 7 movies together in the 1960s. And they're called beach party films. Mm-hmm. And it was like a genre of film that was very popular in the 1960s. The plot is basically just like
boy meets girl kind of thing.
Yeah, boy meets girl. Like they fall in love. It's on the beach,
like teeny bopper.
Cutesy. It was made for teens. It features heavily a lot of music for teenagers.
It's like teen movie, but back in the 50s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Back to the Beach itself is actually a parody of those types of things. It brings back Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon and they're having like a midlife crisis, which is funny to me too, because I feel like if you asked me, I'd be like, they're super old in this movie. They're like...
Well, I remember, okay, so I knew who Annette was because when we were younger...
Somebody give me Annette.
When we were younger, we used to, like, they brought back the Disney Channel. Like, remember, like, that was, because cable TV was first becoming a thing when we were younger.
Yes.
And so you had the Disney Channel, and the Disney Channel didn't have a ton of content, so they used to play old Mickey Mouse shows. So I used to watch those, and my mom loved those shows. So I feel like I knew who all those people were.
Sure.
And then, like, my mom had a bunch of old 45 records. So I feel like I knew a lot of those singers were. But the other thing I think of with Annette is that, remember, she was, like, front page tabloid for a long time, like she was sick or something.
She had MS.
MS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which she did ultimately die from. But they were like, her and Frankie Avalon were always just really good friends. They like, they, you know, supposedly went on one date in like the 1960s, but then were just friends and like iconically known together for these movies.
Sure.
They thought that there would be actually a sequel to this movie because it did fairly well. But this ended up being her last movie before she got too sick to be able to.
I'm so glad she got to be able to do this movie because it's like, in my recollection of it, it's a joyous movie. Isn't Pee Wee Herman in this movie?
Pee Wee Herman is in this movie.
Bob Denver from Gilligan's Island.
Yes. Lori Loughlin.
Oh, she must be young.
Is the daughter, remember?
Okay. And then the son he was in Parker Lewis Can't Lose. He was in just one of the guys, the son in this.
Okay, his name's Tommy Hinckley.
Maybe. I think that might be him.
It also stars Connie Stevens, but then there's a lot of other cameos in the movie as well, like Dickie Dale, like people that we don't really know.
Okay.
But like your mom's like, oh, I know who it is. So this movie existed then, and I was like trying to think of like, so the movies in the 1960s, like this in the 1960s would be like, and this movie is about a 25 year difference in movies.
Okay.
So if you went back 24 years from today, you'd be in the 2000s. So it'd be like
like my kids watching a movie from the early 2000s.
Or your kids watching a movie starring two people from the early 2000s reprising roles back then. So I was thinking of like if they remade High School Musical.
Okay.
And like that's from like 2006 or something. Like, but those like Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens or whoever.
Well, it's like they just did which is even longer ago. They just redid Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Right. Yeah, at first I thought it was like a foreign kind of concept, like that you would never do today. But then I'm just like, oh, a lot of these people, like the top movies of that time were like Gladiator. Russell Crowe's still an actor. Aaron Brockovich, Julia Roberts is still acting.
Right.
Bring It On was like one of the top comedy movies of 2000. So like Kirsten Dunst, if she like was the mom in a new Bring It On,
right?
You know what I mean?
Bring It On.
I guess
that's in development. I'm sure.
So yeah, but I feel like there was a big difference then because at least like in 2000 movies were in color, and you know a lot of these 1960s movies were not, and it was very different time.
Sure.
As far as like, you know.
Attitudes towards sex and drugs.
Yeah. Okay. Stuff like that. You know, it was very innocent.
I think these movies were those movies where I honestly, I don't think I ever saw one of the, like I knew what they were. Like I knew Gidget.
Yeah.
I feel like I knew what Gidget, I think they showed Gidget on Nick at Night maybe.
Yeah, I used to watch Gidget.
Yeah. A little bit. Sally Field's so cute. But yeah, like I don't think I ever watched any of those kind of movies.
No, I didn't either.
No.
But like you remember when this came out and it was like, I want to watch it.
Oh yeah. It was very exciting, this movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw it in the movie theater, but I know we got it like soon. Like I feel like we watched it when I was probably around 10 or 11.
10,
yeah, for sure.
So
I hope, did you check to see if this movie's available?
It is available.
Okay, good.
It's available for free apparently on like Freevee or Tubi or one of those weird ones.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to watch it. Let's go watch it.
All right.
Right now. All right, we'll be back.
Confidently controversial.
And again and again.
We'll be the together.
All right. This movie, guys. What a gem.
Just delightful.
I mean, it was fun. It's silly.
It is silly.
It's ridiculous. I have not seen that movie since I was little.
Oh, no. No.
It's funny as hell.
It is. And it's just so weird to think of little us just being like, this is the best. Like, it's just it's a weird concept for a movie. It's a weird idea for a movie. It's a weird movie.
But I feel like no one talks about this movie.
No.
But it really is
something.
It's something. Well, it's not, like you were saying earlier, how, it's a weird movie.
Yeah.
And it is weird.
And it was weird at the time.
Right.
And I think that's why we liked it. Because, like, it had Pee Wee in it. And it had, like, these weird, funny jokes in it and stuff like that. And I just don't feel like it was perfect for a 10-year-old.
It was perfect for a 10-year-old. But let's talk about it a little bit.
Let's dissect it.
Let's dissect it. So for those who don't remember this movie, like you said before, it's just a silly sort of beach movie where you have Annette and Frankie have moved to Ohio. And they're going to Hawaii, but then they have a layover in Los Angeles, and they're going to visit their daughter, who is Loughlin.
Yes.
But then when they get there, Laurie has been living with a guy.
Right.
And she can't let her parents know that she's been living with this guy, which is crazy. Like, they don't even know she has a boyfriend, and she has a fiance.
Right. But also, like, they live in Ohio. She lives in California. We assume she's like 23, 25. I mean, she's not like
She's not in college or anything.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like who knows what she does. But at one point she's like, well, I'm writing a letter to my parents.
Yeah.
So it's like, they don't talk on the phone. But I remember back in the day, I don't think people remember.
It was expensive to talk on the phone.
Yes, it was a very big deal to have a long distance phone call.
Yes.
Like if you were to call California, it would be a big deal. Like you couldn't talk to someone for an hour.
Yeah. So my boyfriend, when I went to college, he went to college in Georgia.
Okay.
And I live in New Jersey. And I remember after like 7:00, it was 10 cents a minute to talk on the phone. Like that was like the big advertisement. Long distance was 10 cents a minute. So we'd wait until after a certain time and then time it. And then I would pay my parents
how much
money
I wonder
to talk. Like, be like, okay, well, I know the phone bill is going to be a lot this month because I talked for 60 minutes.
But it would be 60 cents. No.
$6.
$6.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
I'm still not
expensive.
even sure that's right. But
I
yeah,
don't know.
that would be $600,000, Emily. It was so much money.
I just remember it was like a pretty big deal to talk to someone late night for that much.
Or just to talk on the phone in general. Like, yeah. And like, you used to not be able to like use the phone in hotel rooms because they were just like, yeah, we don't have long distance here because they were afraid people were going to come in and like rack up big phone bills and stuff.
Oh yeah. Like I remember like at work calling people just to be like, oh yeah, well, you have long distance here.
Right.
And using long distance.
Yeah.
Because that really wasn't, even when you first got phones, even to travel within the United States, you would get hit with roaming charges.
Yeah.
You know,
with a cell phone.
With a cell phone. And you would have to call ahead to get the roaming. Like it was always like a thing.
Yeah.
Which, like it was, that's not that long ago.
Oh no. And your
changed.
phone bill was like varied by the month depending on who you called and how long you talked to them.
Oh yeah, that was like a thing. You could get your phone bill and be like, what?
Right, you would see each call listed individually, remember?
And then
I mean, I guess you could see
trouble.
that now if you wanted to. I have not looked at my phone bill ever.
Right, but they hit you with all kinds of weird charges. Like my phone bill is always so freaking expensive.
Yeah.
But it's because they have all kinds of charges. But anyway, enough about the phone system. So anyway, they go and they, of course, go have this layover in California, and they figure out that the daughter's living with her boyfriend.
Michael.
Yes, and then they end up staying there. Like, who knows what happens with their vacation? I guess they canceled their vacation.
I guess they just don't go to Hawaii because they went to. It's interesting because they're like, look, it's our beach, like our old beach, but then also they're not like, this is also where our daughter lives. Like, I don't know. Like, the daughter lives on their old beach, right?
Right.
I don't know. There's no correlation. It's not made to make sense.
It's not
guys.
made to make sense at all. And it's just kind of wacky. And it's all just a setup for them to sing some songs and have some fun on the beach And there's some great musical numbers on this. There's a number with Fishbone.
Yeah.
Ska, ska, ska.
Jamaican
ska.
ska.
There's
ba, ba, ba,
The Bird.
to the ska.
Oh, you're still on this
Sorry.
one. Okay.
It's a banger.
It's a banger.
Yeah,
Bird
there's-
is the word.
The Pee Wee Herman classic, The Bird is the Word.
Right, but then there's also a part like, so Dick Dale, who's a very famous guitar player, he's in this movie, featured in this movie quite a bit. And then at one point, it's him and Stevie Ray Vaughan on the stage playing guitar. And I'm like, these are like two guitar legends are in this movie. It's crazy.
It's very odd.
It's very odd.
Yeah, you forgot to tell everyone, like, the story starts out and it's told from the point of view of, like, I would say, like, 13-year-old, 15-year-old son.
He mentions that puberty would have been, like, so he
he's
hasn't
young.
gone through puberty
like,
yet.
12-year-old son.
Yeah, maybe like 11 or 12.
Who's got, like, a spiky haircut and wears leather and,
he's
has,
like
like,
the
an earring clip and stuff like that. And he's, like, funny. He's really funny.
He's really funny. No, that kid is really funny. And I think what I enjoy about this movie is how self-aware it is.
Yes.
So, a thing that I forgot up until the very second I saw Annette, which, like, I saw Annette and the first thing I thought was like, choosy moms, choose Jif.
Right, yeah.
She was all about peanut butter.
Jif peanut butter,
Yes. So in this movie, she has, like, it's all about peanut butter, and she's always, like, trying to give the son peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Well, she's always, like, giving the son, like, peanut butter sandwiches, and so that is very much played into her character. I just think it's, like, very self-aware. Like, no, in our movies, we just solve problems by doing this. It's like she gets in a fight with her husband. She's like, well, in my day, this is what we do.
We just sing a song and wear our PJs and dance.
Right. So it's like they're very self-aware about the fact that
their movies were cheesy and formulaic.
Right. But also to this extent of, like, yeah, life is complicated. We're throwing some pretty complex relationship things here, but we're just like, nope.
Right.
We're going to make it pretty easy. We're just going to, like, look, you guys were having this fight about this thing. You broke up, you decided you didn't want to get married to your fiance anymore. Here's what you have to do. Just make them jealous.
Just wear your bathing suit and dance.
Just wear your bathing suit. Make them dance. I mean, this movie, legitimately funny.
Yeah, it is funny. I will say, too, and I think that, like you said, they are very self-aware. So, like, Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello don't take themselves too seriously. They're not trying to be anything that they're not. They've, like, embraced these old, like, cheesy characters a little bit, and they understand who they are and what they're doing.
And what people like about their thing. They definitely don't take themselves seriously.
Right. And then you have Connie Stevens, who's, like, the love interest.
Hair.
Oh, yeah, she's a beautiful lady.
Holy moly.
And she's like the love interest. And at one point, Frankie Avalon says to her, if it wasn't Annette, it would have been you. And I would kill my husband if he ever said something like that.
Oh, well, yeah. Like them's fighting words.
Yeah. How dare you?
How dare you, Frankie Avalon?
I've told my husband that if I die and he gets remarried, he can, but he has to tell the woman that he will never love her as much as he loves me. He has to tell her. She has to know. And it's not going to be one of those things where like second chance love, where he luckily fell in love with someone great. Second, nope. I'm the best thing that ever happened to him, and she needs to know that she's just second place. But he can get remarried as long as he lets her know.
Okay, so first of all, do you actually think he would stick to that and he would actually say those words out loud?
He has to, or I'll haunt him.
He'll do nothing of the sort.
I will.
Well, I'm totally against.
If you're still alive,
I'll make sure.
Make sure.
Did you tell her? Right.
And then if he's like,
because if he doesn't tell her, I'll tell her.
Yeah, you tell her.
I will.
Okay,
I'll do that. And you just have to make sure my husband doesn't marry anybody.
Okay. And you just talk like all the time, like if you ever meet her or whatever.
All I'll talk about is you.
Yeah, how cool I was and how great I was, and
I'll be mean to her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
just be like, ugh, Kim would have never done it like that.
I will never accept her.
Good.
And you'll do the same for me, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Well, if you don't want Alex to remarry, I can make that happen.
Okay, good.
Or not happen, should I say?
Yeah, I don't think he would. I think he's too lazy. I don't think he would do it. No. It's too much work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I shouldn't say that.
Right.
He's not lazy, but I would say it's a lot of work to go out there and like date people and like meet people.
Yeah.
And I just don't see him doing it.
Brady would have to marry someone who accidentally stumbled into our home. Like, oh, how'd you get here? Do you also want to be my new wife? You know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well,
okay.
you know ladies, though. They'll descend. They would descend.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Let's stop talking about
Okay.
this. Because now I'm mad. I'm going to go home and I'm going to be all mad. My husband's going to be like, why are you mad? I'm like, shut up.
Oh, well, one more thing about the son, too, is that he has the switchblade comb, which were very popular. My brother always had one.
We could have gotten one when we were at the arcade last week. They had them.
We should have gotten it.
Now we have. Now you got to go get all those cards. I'm telling you guys, I got a little obsessed with that whole thing. And I was like, the next day, I'm like, why didn't you go back up to the boardwalk and see if you can get that golden ticket? Kim's like, why do you keep talking about this?
So you can get the switchblade comb.
Well, the other thing I thought about with this was, and I remember thinking this at the time watching this movie. So we grew up down the shore by a beach.
Yes.
And it was never like that, which I don't think it even is out there probably.
No.
But I remember just there, where we grew up, like the beach is more a family beach.
Yes.
So it's not like a bunch of like teenagers running wild on the beach.
No.
I don't remember that.
No.
Do you remember that Body Glove bathing suit? Body Glove sponsored this movie for
so
sure.
Body Glove is, I don't think they're still a company. If they are, I don't know
Someone
where
else
you
bought them.
But
yeah.
like, they made wetsuits and stuff like that. But then in the 80s, they also made a very popular bathing suit for women.
Yes.
It was available 1-piece, 2-piece, multiple pieces. One had pants.
Okay.
But they were like that neoprene material, like a wetsuit. But they all had a zipper on the front.
Yeah, like in this movie, people wore this as the bathing suit top. They had dresses with this. Like, Body Glove went all in on this movie.
But as I said to Emily, I was never allowed to have... I always wanted the bathing suit with the zipper. Mm-hmm. And my mom would not allow me to have the bathing suit with the zipper because she thought it was a slutty thing.
Sure.
And my question was, like, at 10 years old, was I going to undo the zipper?
You would die.
Or would the zipper accidentally fall down? Like, I don't understand.
I remember we had a Body Glove bathing suit. I think it did have the zipper, but I don't think the zipper actually
worked.
Yeah.
They've worked on those.
Well, but I do remember it had a belt. It was belted. Yeah.
But, like, fixed. You couldn't take the belt off.
No.
Right, but it had belt loops.
It had belt loops.
Yeah.
It had a belt on it, which is weird.
And belt loops.
I don't remember. I would assume it had the belt loops, but I do recall it being a belt situation.
Yeah, those were flattering bathing suits, though, because they had, like, black pieces on the side, remember, and then they'd be, like, neon down the center.
Sure.
Flattering.
Highly. They should bring those back, for sure. But also, so surfers, I made the comment in this thing. I'm like, surfers are just always hot.
Yeah.
There's just something about a surfer.
Oh, yeah. We definitely had the surfer population in our school.
We did. A lot of surfers.
And they were very hot boys.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And
over the summer, there would be more surfers.
Yeah.
But then once you actually, like, hung out with a surfer, they sucked. They always sucked. Because they were just
all of them.
Not all of them, but I feel like they just wanted to smoke pot and
no, not the ones. Not like the.
Not the ones you loved, huh?
Not the ones I loved. No, I think they were like clean cut boys a lot of the time.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
You disagree?
I disagree. We're gonna have a whole conversation about this
offline.
afterwards because nobody listens cares about who we went to high school with and who was clean cut and who was smoking pot and who wasn't.
Right.
But we're going to have that conversation after this show.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do feel like the surf culture, like back then, I don't know, was different than when we were in high school. And I wonder what surf culture is like now. Mm-hmm. I assume it's still like a little hippy dippy.
But I think it's so much more mainstream because like kids take surfing lessons and there's surf club in
I know.
high school.
Like watching this, I was just thinking like, I should think about signing my kids up for surfing lessons. Right. They would probably really like that.
And I also think too, do you remember, it made me think of when on the boardwalk when we were kids, there was a photo opportunity to get your picture on, like there was a wave in the background and you could balance on a surfboard, remember, and like get your picture on it. That was amazing. If there was one of those right now, I would go today.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think watching this movie and just the retro, like how retro this movie is, it just, like this movie, the genre, everything about it, like, is white bread.
Oh, so, yeah.
It's just a nice loaf of Wonder Bread is what this movie is.
Yeah.
It's like...
not offensive.
Not offensive, but like a little, like they definitely make fun of gay people in this.
They do?
They have like a little like, you're fruity kind of things. They say some stuff.
Okay.
I mean, nothing too crazy, but it's definitely that thing of, you know, being retro. But I think when you see a movie like this, and what I liked about this movie is that it showed that there had been progress from the time that they had their time, right?
Sure.
And they were self-aware, and they were kind of self-aware of the fact that, you know, they're oversimplifying things. These relationships are oversimplified, that it's kind of silly and kooky or whatever. And I feel like when you have movies like that, that are retro and kind of tongue-in-cheek, it does show that there is always this kind of progress over time. And I think that that's what I liked about this movie. It's just, it's silly and it's self-aware, and I like that.
But it's wholesome.
It's
A little
wholesome.
wholesome.
It's a little
I
wholesome.
guess. I mean, there's like a punk group of like bad beach surfers.
The bad beat Zed.
Yeah.
Who talks like a caveman
Who's
or something.
super hot.
Super hot.
Yeah.
But he died young,
He
as we
did
found
die
out.
young. Yeah, and Gilligan and the professor, or the Gilligan and the skipper,
The skipper
are both in it. Wally and the Beeve,
Wally and the Beaver in it, and their mom,
Mrs. Beeve.
Mrs. Beaver. God damn you. And who else? Kooky, lend me your comb. He's the parking attendant.
And then there's the character of Troy, who's meant to be super cringe.
He is.
He's like the beach buffoon. He's super tan with his like gold medallion and his what do they call those things?
a beach buffoon.
Banana hammock. What do they call it?
A banana hammock.
Okay, well then don't say ew if that's the name of it.
But it's just a bathing suit.
Okay.
Okay.
But if I said bathing suit, the people need to see the picture of the hammock
Stop moving your
holding
hands
the
like
banana.
that. Stop moving your hands like that.
I like to watch you just get more and more uncomfortable.
No, it's so super fun. Like,
And then randomly they're just like, hey, you know what this movie needs? Pee Wee Herman. And he'll just randomly, with no setup and no conclusion, come in and sing a song.
right,
The bird is the word.
right. But everyone's happy to see him.
And
Then he magically surfs in the sky.
out, and he's like a magical
He's
creature.
magic, which he kind of is.
Yeah, but also he like badly lip syncs to the song. And he's got like some pale faced makeup
But I think
on.
that's what he always does. And I think he's around some pretty tan people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
Frankie Avalon's skin is like leather in this movie.
It is.
And I know Annette in this movie was about our age, was actually a couple years younger than us when she
God.
made this movie.
Okay.
But she looks like a watching it, I'm like, oh my God, she's like a grandma in this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because of the way she looks or the way she's acting, which like, it reminds me of like our school teachers when we were in elementary school.
Right.
You know, like I think of Miss Evans.
Right,
And like
right,
that
right.
whole group of people
Yeah.
where their hair is very
Puff.
puff and perfect and it doesn't really move.
Right, ever. Like, and they
Ever.
don't go home and redo that.
Like,
That's just
do
set.
older women have
gets-
hair like that anymore?
I think that's what women, like my nanny, she used to go and get her hair set.
But what was that?
That
Explain
was-
this to me.
That was like a perm maybe, but it was like in rollers. Like you would get it in rollers and then they would like put the
spray.
solution on it.
Oh, it was like a solution. It wasn't like hairspray.
No, well maybe it was. And then they would put the dryer on it
Okay.
and it would be set in curls.
It was just harden.
Yeah, then the things would come out. Like you would take the rollers
Right.
out and then she would like pick it.
Poof them.
Yeah.
And then you would just wrap a scarf around it and you were good for how long?
I mean, I feel like she didn't go that often.
So did she not wash her hair? in between?
No. And you wore a shower cap.
No.
It probably didn't smell great.
It probably didn't
That's
smell
why you
great.
sprayed it with
With what? Soot? What are you trying to say?
what's it called? Hairspray.
The hairspray. But when you get like, I just feel like my scalp would
get
be
a look
itchy.
and like flaky.
Flaky.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they did it. But
Why?
I feel like they didn't, like nowadays, like people will get a blowout
Right.
and like it'll last a couple days.
Sure.
But I don't feel like it's as long lasting as my
Because-
nanny's perm.
No. I feel like people, like you said, people would get their hair done and they would get set and would just stay that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I definitely remember a lot of school teachers when we were younger who
Yeah.
had hairdos
Yeah.
that were iconic.
Helmet.
They were.
Yeah.
They were helmet hairdos that just were that way.
And it didn't change
They
ever.
and they weren't doing their hair every morning.
And none of them were like, oh God, it's so humid. Look at my hair. It was always the same.
Always the same.
Right.
On field day,
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't wearing hats.
They weren't wearing hats. Like, I think in particular, like, the nurse, Miss Brown,
Oh, yeah.
she had those little ringlets by her ears.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she
always
had
the
like
same.
white hair. That was like almost like powdered.
I don't remember. I can remember so many women having hair like that just didn't move. It just didn't move.
But hers wasn't like she had like hers pulled back.
Yeah, it was like a French.
And then she had like the little tendrils.
Yeah. So she
But
had like
it was
an
like
updo.
so white.
Yeah, but it was like an updo. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, these women must have been doing, like, and how much would that cost? You're getting your hair done every couple of weeks?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you save on shampoo. You don't have to buy as much VO5.
You don't have to buy that much Prel
Right.
for your hair. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, overall, this movie, just making America great again. It's just wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, and like, even like there's jokes in it that are like, I mean, you know, it's still beach babe humor. There's a lot of that beach babe action happening, but they're like, the one woman is like meant to be the hot girl, and she's like, like making those
Right.
like breathy noises, and they're like, oh God, she has asthma. Like they like, you know, definitely mock that a
Yeah.
little bit.
It's a
And
great
then-
movie.
Yeah,
It was
is a great
fun.
movie.
I'm glad that they did it.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Anything else you want to talk about from it?
No, the people should go watch it, though. I mean, I feel like this is a movie that deserves...
It was free. It was quick. It was not overly long.
It
It didn't
deserves-
have a strong plot, but at the same time, it has enough like funny moments that you're just like, this is delightful. Frankie Avalon was great.
Oh my gosh. He's fantastic. He's so funny. Like, I was happy for him and to have, like, if he fought for this movie,
Yeah.
they should have listened to him earlier because
Yeah.
he knew what he was talking about.
He gets drunk on those stunned mullets. Which, if I ever had a chance to name a drink on a drink menu, I will be calling it the stunned mullet.
What could be in a stunned mullet? Clam cheese.
Ew, no. Stunned mullet. We'll have to think about that. It has to be a little, like, brown.
What?
don't know.
Okay, stop saying that.
Brown.
Yeah, it was like Frankie Avalon's delightful. Annette Funicello is delightful. It made me sad that this was like her last movie, but at the same time, it's like it's good that this was her last movie because she looked
went
great.
out on a high.
She went out on a high. Fantastic. Like Lori Loughlin. Like, does this woman age? Like, she looks the same back then as she does now. Like, gorgeous.
The sun was the punk rock sun was delightful.
I'd be curious to see like anyone from these times watching this movie who probably haven't heard, because this movie, I don't know if anyone's heard of this movie.
No, my husband had never seen it.
I know that it was big. Like I said, I know it was big
Yeah.
in my family. I know my husband has seen this movie.
You're sure?
I'm pretty sure. I'm wondering if my nieces have seen this movie. Because I don't know that my sister would have made them watch it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because like I had forgotten that it existed. Like, you know, we both have our list for this.
I have this on my list.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, not for this season,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
have it on my big running list.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remembered it recently and was just like, my God, like when I say we watched it a lot, like I still remembered lines from it.
I quote it to this
Yeah.
day. The whole call me Surly, Shirley.
Right.
I say that a lot. Like in my head, I say it, but I would never say it out loud because I
Right.
don't think anyone would know what
And
I was
also-
talking about.
And I think about like whenever someone's named Annette, it's like someone give me Annette. Like not that kind of
and
Annette.
when he said, why, would I ever leave Ohio?
Yep.
Like, these are lines that I remember for my entire life.
And a lot of times you're like, a bird. A bird is the word.
Surfing bird. That's great.
Yes.
So highlight. Go watch it, everybody.
Yeah, it was
And,
great.
Yeah, tell us we're wrong. But you should watch it.
So, do you want to know how this movie connects to Christian Slater?
I mean, kind of.
Like, right?
Let's do
It's
it.
gonna be interesting. All right.
What? Yeah.
Look alive, Paul.
Hold on. Okay, let's do it.
So, Christian Slater.
We know him.
Yeah.
We love him.
He's not in Back to the Beach.
He isn't, and I feel like it would be funny if he was, though.
Yeah, I would love it.
Yeah.
But Lori Loughlin, she is in Back to the Beach.
She sure is.
Yeah. And she was in a little show. You might have heard of it. called Full House.
Oh, yes, I recall.
Yeah. So Full House has the person that I sometimes presume to be the hottest man that's ever lived in it.
John Stamos.
John Stamos.
You think he's the hottest man that ever lived?
I think he might be. I think, like,
Really?
if you think about it, and you think about all the criteria
that it takes.
that it takes to be the hottest man that ever lived, and you look at his career and him now, and he loves Disney.
He does love Disney.
And
He's very handsome.
he's sweet and he's funny and he can sing and
Plays the drums with the Beach Boys sometimes.
and he says, "Have mercy."
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the hottest man of all time, but he's
I think I could
holding up.
argue it pretty
You could argue it,
I could
too.
argue it.
Okay, so
I
we
could
got...
argue it in a court of law, and I would come out pretty strong. Who would you fight against with?
Who would I say hottest man of all time?
Yeah.
Whew. Gosh, I don't know.
See?
I
That's
don't
why.
know. I would have to think about it. I mean, come on. Who's, like, you got Ryan Reynolds is very hot. Ryan Gosling. Those are just the Ryans. Those are just people named Ryan.
Those are boys. John Stamos is a man. Okay. So anyway,
All right.
Lori Loughlin
Lori Loughlin.
in a show with hottest man of all time, John Stamos. John Stamos is in a 2010 movie called Father of Invention
What?
about an infomercial guru. And also in that movie is Kevin Spacey.
Okay, Father of Invention.
Yeah.
I don't remember this movie.
No, 2010. I don't know.
Weird time to be alive.
So Kevin Spacey.
Okay.
We won't talk about him. Problematic.
Problematic.
But Kevin Spacey, he was in the 1995 movie Seven
Oh.
with Brad Pitt.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you may remember that Brad Pitt was in Interview with a Vampire with Christian Slater.
Oh
And
my
that,
God, we did
my
it.
friends, is the connection
You did
between
it.
Back to the Beach and Christian Slater.
Got it. How many steps was that?
92.
That was excellent. Well, we hope everybody enjoyed this episode. We hope everyone goes back and watches Back to the Beach.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
free.
Go watch it. What are you doing?
Right.
Like,
It's
what else you
summer. If it rains one day, put it on for your kids. Just see what they think.
Right. Just like watch them the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, huh? Huh?
How about that hair?
Is it awake? Well, we had a big conversation about that too.
Yeah. Well, we didn't tell the people that I think I spotted my first hairpiece this week.
I know, we're so proud of Kim. So, as our regular listeners will know, I am often pointing out if things are hair pieces or plugs or something
Yeah.
like that. Not that it's bad. Men should do whatever
Yeah,
they
whatever
want to do.
makes them feel comfortable.
Whatever makes them feel happy, they should do it. Just, I like when the guys are very open about it and just kind of like David Spade will talk about the fact that he's had work done.
Really?
Yeah, Joel McHale talks about it openly.
Okay.
Like, I like when people are just like, yes, I've done these things. It makes me feel better about myself. It's fine. I don't like when people want us to believe.
Well, I don't know. This guy, we just met. So I don't think he would be like, hello, how are you?
He hands you a card that just says, yes,
Yes,
it's
it's a
fake.
piece. But I feel like I had to like have a lot of conversations like up close with this person
And the whole time
and I feel like I was like fully just like
Hair.
looking at their hair very closely, and I was just like, oh, this is what Emily means. I see it now.
So we're very, very proud of you.
Like, it's too pert.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yes. We'll get to be friends with him and find out what's
So what were we
going
talking
on.
about?
We were talking about hair pieces. We were
Okay.
talking about, I don't remember.
Watching
Oh,
Back to
no,
the
the
Beach.
hair in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's some fake hair going on.
Sure,
but
sure.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Everybody embraces it.
Yeah.
But I want to tell the people, we're glad that, we're back, and we're glad that you're listening, and we appreciate it. Why don't you go ahead and support us by going to our little store on our website, checking out some of our product and some of the awesome designs that we have, and let us know which ones you like by buying them.
And also, I know that in this time you're just listening and stuff. You're just trying to get through your day. You're just trying to get to work and have the podcast on or whatever. But like every now and then, if you like are at your desk or you're at home at night and you think of something funny that we said, maybe go back and like us or subscribe to our podcast. Or just say something cute in the comments about like, oh, you guys are silly angels.
Silly angels.
Yeah.
I would love it if someone called us silly angels. Oh my gosh.
And,
Hashtag silly angels.
Yeah, and just tell us.
Okay.
So.
I've lost my ability to speak. So guys, follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Apple Podcasts.
Sure.
Or any of the Winamp. I don't even know what that is, but apparently a lot of people listen to us through Winamp. Spotify.
If that's your flavor.
Whatever you want to do is fine by us. Just listen to us and call us silly angels.
And if you ever find yourself up against the
Kayawabunga
from down under, the thunder, whatever. If you ever find yourself surfing against that, you should be confident.
You should be confident.
Yeah. Like, you should get out there. You should play a golf on your surfboard.
Absolutely.
But you shouldn't
be controversial.
Yeah, and like fight with people on the beach or.
No, you should always be kind.
Yeah.
Be kind.
That's nice.
It is. Is it knife or is it nice?
It's knife.
All right. Thanks, guys. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Controversial. Confidently controversial.